What's up, everyone? This is your 4-star Kali mechanics guide because unfortunately I was not able to kill her before the patch, but I got damn close. I got her to her resolve. So I can tell you all the mechanics and some of the resolve mechanics. Unfortunately, I didn't witness enough of the resolve mechanics and the server's down now, so I can't go do that. But I will tell you what you need to do this dungeon. I will tell you what to look out for. And keep in mind, there's some things in this dungeon, guys, that you can do everything right and just get screwed by RNG pretty heavily. Like, probably about 70% of the time. Likewise, you can make some bad decisions. And because of a proc or something else happened, a dodge, whatever, you're fine. So, the nature of the beast with this dungeon is, yes, it's 72 energy. And yes, you are just going to get screwed sometimes. There's not much you can do about it. This was my best run, so I'm going to show you. So number one right here is Sari. That's her name. You see her going to stealth right there. Do not let her stay in stealth. Knock her out of it. If she stays in stealth and she does that attack or ultimate, it hits a lot harder. I think it ignores defense. That AoE right there, pretty much she's going to select one target, two other random targets. Puts poison on. You want to cleanse the poison ASAP. And here, you know what? Let me increase the speed of this video because it actually took a while. We'll go to 1.5 for now. She is stunnable. I'm not sure if like Looming Death or stuff like that works on her. But she's stunnable, she's tauntable, she's debuffable. And I got no reason to think that Looming Death or Mental Seal or whatever wouldn't work on her. So you see there, I brought Tayo in. The reason I brought Tayo in is because Tayo is actually my buffest DPS. And no matter who you really bring in on DPS in this fight, they're gonna get killed. You can mitigate that a little bit with tanks and supports. You see the supports I'm running there. But for the most part, you just gotta accept the fact that whoever your DPS is, if you're running a setup like this, they're gonna die. Now, to tell you what I'm using real quick while this fight's going on, Pepe1991 on Twitch, that's his tank right there. Pepe's the guy that beat this last time, so he has like a bunch of Kalis, and I'm his friend. I'm lucky. He's a good guy. So if you see Pepe on Twitch, go follow him. Mascarin did some of his videos for a bit. So the tank's pretty solid right there. And I got my Rue, I got my Ramu, which I wish I didn't have to take my Ramu, but that's just the way it is. Rue is at 3 purple stars, Ramu is at 0 purple stars, Sid is at 3 purple stars, Kaio is at 6 purple stars. Most of them have at least +9 runes. I think they all have +9 runes, maybe not Ramu. But, so that's what I'm running. As far as DPS in here goes, you can run Morrigan's probably the premier choice because she gets buff damage. Cynthia, I'm just going to say it now, Cynthia, you do have to run Rue with Cynthia, so Cynthia's not going to do as much damage as she's capable of. But her one still ignores defense. And I'll leave the rest for you guys to figure out on that one. I'm actually going to make a video on that one at some point. Now, oh, that's her ulti right there. So the way that the turn order usually works, first turn, she'll do regular attack. Second turn, she does that little triple thing right there. Fourth turn, I think she'll do the triple thing again. And then it's random because I've seen it go off a bunch of times. Let me pause it here. But the 5th through 8th turn, she can do her ultimate. Her ultimate is basically a single target. If it hits anyone but your tank, for the most part, unless they got a shield or something, they're gonna die. So now these guys right here, they have a mechanic. Number one, they put out lots of AoE damage, so you really have to watch that. Even when you attack them, they will counter with the cone effect. You see how Tayo went down there. Not stunnable, not tauntable. They're immune to all abnormal statuses. And the gimmick is, if you kill one before you kill the other one's going to enrage. And the enrages are quite different for both of them. For the one on the left, the white one, if you kill the black one, which is preferable if you have to kill one or the other beforehand, the white one will put up Looming Death and nuke fairly hard. But if you kill the white one before the black one will just do one of those like insta-wipe nukes. So unless you have like a shield or something, I'm not sure if it pierces, but either way, you don't want to be, you see that nuke there from the white one? Because I killed one, so that's why revive, pretty important here. You're not going to taunt these guys, so just blow as much damage as you can, try to keep everyone up. Oh, also, if you notice, they put up a revive, anti-revive. So if your people die while that's on, you can't revive them for the rest of the dungeon. So you do not want to let them die, and you want to get that dispelled ASAP. Rue's really good for this. Karen, I wish I had a Karen. I don't have a Karen. Karen's exceptional in this dungeon, actually. And who else? You know, Sid. Sid's solid as far as supports go. I'm sure there's other supports, but those are probably like your core three. Ramu's literally just here because I don't have anyone else that can res that's decent that I have built up. So that's all it is with that mechanic. Now, before I go any farther, let me just clarify something. You don't have to run a full fire team in here. You don't have to run tank, or excuse me, you do have to run a tank, but you don't have to run that tank. You don't have to run Electra. I can see a Cordelia doing really well. Cordelia would actually be superior in many ways to Electra in here. I guess I should explain that. Cordelia has better regen than Electra does because she has that passive 9% when she has Searing Rage stacks. Cordelia has 2 on-demand skills that are really important. The damage shield that basically makes everyone immune to one source of damage, which can be really huge for Callie's ult, which I'll explain later. Electra has that too, but Cordelia's, I believe, or they're on the same cooldown, I think. But Electra's ult will hit everybody. You need an ult like that that hits everybody or something. Be thinking of something that hits 5 people, because it does really well here. But, and you know, there's other tanks. The new tank Amon, I'm sure he'd be good if he got built up. Possibly Claude, it just depends how you built your Claude. But alright, so let me explain this. So right here, I have to actually pause this to show you guys. That's Callie in the middle. Those are her clones on the side. She's hidden. So randomly about 50% of the time, whenever one of her clones or her use a skill, they will be hidden. What you have to do is knock them out of hiding. Her clones take precedent over her unless you're all really low. If Callie is still hiding by the time her turn comes back up, she will do like a 3 target. I think it's like a, you know, she targets one person, then it randomly targets with that throwing thing right there. And probably kill at least a couple people with it. But the bigger mechanic, you see how all her clones are pretty stealth right there? If her clones are stealth and the clone takes a turn again, it will basically sacrifice itself and Callie will get a stacking buff. I forget what it's called, it's like Shadow or something or whatever. And maybe we'll see it here. I'll tell you when it happens. By the way, the clones are stunnable. I'm not sure about like a Mental Seal or Looming Death or anything like that. So yeah, that clone right there just sacrificed herself. Callie gets a stack. When she gets 3 stacks, she's gonna one-shot somebody. And it could be 2 people, it could be 3 people. Usually she'll focus on the tank or whoever has the brand on. Did you see the brand debuff right there? Maybe we'll see it coming. Oh, wait, no, she doesn't have it yet. So the issue with this group is, as you kill her clones, she will resummon the clones, but if you leave 2 or more up, the clones, she won't resummon the clones. So you actually don't want to hit the clones when you don't have to and keep it at 2 as much as possible, because it's way less damage that's going out. But you know, sometimes with multi-encounter, you can't really control that, or you gotta knock them out of stealth, like there, and it kills them, you know? So, and another thing to note, Callie dodges a lot. I can't put a percentage on it, but I would say it is at least 30 to 40%. So, blowing like hard nukes and, you know, if you happen to have a stat with accuracy on it that has all your other skills, might not be so bad in here. What are some other mechanics? So, when they hit you, Callie herself puts Brand on. Brand makes you take 30% more damage from all sources. There is also Poison that I believe all of them can put on. But it's not like, you know, it doesn't happen every time, but it does happen. It might be Callie that just does that. I guess we'll check and see here. So, but for the most part, I mean, she'll target your tank and she'll target your DPS. So having a tank with as much tank percentage as possible is really important in here. Also, your supports need to stay alive as long as possible. Sid helps with that with the shield. Okay, that was her super right there. When you see her say, it's time for you to reflect on your naughty behavior. She cone attacked Electra, which luckily only Rue's right by it. So, at that point, it's like, okay, I better Get Electra up there, and honestly, what I probably should have did. Well, actually, no, because if I don't get Electra up there, then even though Rue's up, she might just get one shot or whatever. So, anyways, at some point she's gonna summon her clones here as soon as her turn comes back up. You see, I'm struggling with keeping everyone up. Let me go ahead and pump. Getting sustained damage in this dungeon is very difficult because of all the mechanics of you're trying to keep people alive, you're trying to debuff or get rid of debuffs rather, and then people are dying, so you have to get them up. And then also the stealth mechanic actually screws you up because you have to focus the clones so much. You see here, I'm in quite a heaping bit of trouble. Oh, I actually died there, that's funny. Ah ha ha. Okay, well, I guess what I need to do... I didn't realize I made that highlight with that fail run. Alright, we'll go back to where we were. Okay, so let's just go from here. This is the next run I did. That's the run I meant to clip out. So pretty much, a good tank in here is going to have at least 14% regen, I would imagine. You're not going to regen while poison's up on you, but otherwise you're going to regen pretty good. Try to get as close to 5k armor as possible, and your health. That tank right there actually has 220 health, and she gets nuked pretty good, as you can see, so... 22,000 health is what I mean to say. So it's just a matter of your tank is your lifeline in here, and if you got anything that helps you mitigate damage or, you know, heal, obviously, then that'll work. The damage immunity proc is really huge in here, also the damage protection. It can work against you, but, you know, for the most part, it's fine. So right here, I'm trying to keep 2 clones up. But at some point, you see that one's in stealth. She got away, so now... Now, Callie's ultimate, at least before enrage, I don't know after enrage, but before enrage does not penetrate. So you can use shields, you can use any type of mitigating factor you can to absorb the damage. So you see how I keep 1 clone up that's low whenever there's just 1 clone left, and that clone's stunned as well. But they're basically going to beat the holy hell out of your tank and your DPS at all times, so it is a very tough dungeon to navigate. The bonus heroes in here, Morrigan, I believe she gets either 100% or 200% more damage. Serdic reduces cooldowns by 1, and Damien, I think he increases regen amount by 100%, and Damien actually wouldn't be too bad in here. Depending on what you want to do, you could put him as leader, and get that 25% evade if you're running a fire team, or at least for Electra if you're running her as tank. And then you can also, you know, he has lots of AoE nuke, and he has a stun, so you can stun everything in here except for regular Kali in the middle. And then, okay, so potential other strats you could use besides the one I'm using. I've already told you different DPSers, and you're free to decide on your own who your best DPS option would be now that I've shown you most of the mechanics. If you have a good tank, you can run Double Rue. Double Rue in here is amazing with counter. She needs counter. Now, the reason I say that, number 1, you know when Rue autos, she does a cone effect, so she's going to be hitting a lot of things like that. Number 2, she has a proc that sometimes she'll get a heal. And the heal is actually really nice, especially if you're countering, because sometimes you'll get that clutch counter heal, which is pretty good. So there was Callie's ult again, and then unfortunately my Electra's turn was right after it, so I couldn't get the shield up, but we got the reses right here. I'm trying to think if there's any other mechanic I'm not really telling you guys about. Watch out when someone that's not your tank has Brand, because regular Callie will focus them as much as possible. I guess not always, but sometimes she does. Poison, you're going to have a way to get rid of poison here. Rue's passive Dispel does not cleanse poison, so you're either going to have like a Sid, a Karen, someone else that could possibly dispel poison or make you immune to dot damage, which there's a couple mechanics in that game, or in the game with some characters, but I don't know of meta heroes that really have it. I know Abel has it if you're under shield. Which honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I might run Abel. Just for the passive healing. But anyway, so actually that's not a bad idea. But otherwise, this is pretty much all the mechanics you have to deal with right now. Just knock the clones out of stealth. Your tank, or whoever is getting hit, is going to get brand and poison. And then Callie herself, she can dodge at this point, and the dodge seems to be about 30 to 40%. And just knock her clones out of stealth, knock her out of stealth when you can. And that's pretty much all there is to this. You just got to keep enduring, just keep rezzing, keep healing, keep cleansing, keep knocking clones, keep trying to mitigate her damage. And if you have AoE dramatically helps, especially on a shorter cooldown. AoE is amazing in here. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to fast forward a little bit because I've pretty much explained every mechanic. Yeah, and you might get screwed because of crit, you might get screwed because of turn order, there's all types of things. Procs, dodge, stun, you know, there's all types of things that can happen. So you see how low I'm getting her here. I was actually feeling really good about this run. Like I said, she resummons the clones whenever there's 1 or less, or 0 rather. So if you can, what I tend to do, I focus on one side. I try to kill the clone on the edge first, because if you kill the clone that's right next to her, and the edge clone cloaks, you really can't do anything about it with cone attacks. You have to use a 5-target attack. Now, Electra has a 5-target attack on her 3, but it's on, I think, like a 7 or a 6-turn cooldown. So that's not really reliable to rely on with as much. These clones are cloning basically 50% of the time. And Callie can still evade you, especially when clone. I had a heartbreak at some point in this run. I had my Tayo with 5 stacks, and I ulted Callie, and Callie just freaking dodged it. I was so pissed. Like, whoop! And then I think he burned all the stacks on a multi on one of the clones, which I didn't want. So that was annoying. But you see, even with a good tank, man, your tank's like always on fumes and always super close to dying. That's my follow animation, guys, so Shinakuma didn't suddenly just appear, I swear. He didn't join the Shadow Guild. Although he'd fit right in. So what I'm gonna do now, let's see, we got about 13 minutes left in the encounter. So I will fast forward just a little bit. I will show you guys what happens at the end. By the way, if I forgot to mention, Callie does have a resolve. The resolve will put her at about 200k-ish health. So at that point, ideally the way that you want to go into her soft enrage is what people tell me it is obviously have all your dudes up with as much health and as little debuffs as possible. Have all your cooldowns on your DPS and hopefully your healers as well, even though that's pretty much impossible. Have 2 clones up. I think I had 4 clones up when I did it, because I didn't know how it was going to work. And that's like instant death, because what happens is, and I can't show you much of the video of it, but I can show you a little bit. What happens is, when you kill Callie and she comes back, her clone, she buffs her clones. Her clones get her passive, so now her clones dodge. And her clones can put on, I assume her clones can put on brand. I'm not 1000% sure about that. But basically, they just become a lot buffer. And so it was tragic what happened, man. Because I was about to kill one of the clones that was about to wipe me. And yeah, I'm sure you can guess what happened here. How much? We got about 6 minutes left on the video, so I'll fast forward a bit. And looks like my Tayo went down again. Alright, we're getting to nitty gritty. I'll just let it play from here. Yep, there it was. You see that dodge when she had 2 clones? If I would have killed her there and her clones were that low, I think, I mean, I had a shot at her. I didn't for sure have her, but I had a shot at her. So right there, with Ramuh's heal, unfortunately, it DPS's poison. It does the heal before it does the turn reduction on cooldowns effect. I got lucky there with the proc. damage. So right here, I was like, oh my god, I gotta kill Callie, and of course Callie freaking dodged it. So... But the tank right now, I'm sitting here wondering, I'm like, should I riz? Should I riz? Like, no, I should go for a stun. I got the stun, so I got one of the dudes I was gonna go. And I was like, okay, well, as long as we can make it here, we just had to make it back to Ramuh's turn, which I don't think ever happened. And unfortunately, Sid was still on cooldown on his res. Okay, so you see that... And let me go back, because I totally missed it. You see that Tayo pops her resolve right there. So instantly, hot-blooded instinct. Now watch what Callie does. This was like the saddest thing ever. Wham. It's just like her regular ult was, where it's the cone effect, but unfortunately both my resers were both right there. And yeah, that's my arm from the way that I captured this video. My head's actually right below that, but... So that was a hard break, but basically what you want to happen there from that transition is you need to go into it as healthy as possible. Hopefully you have a defensive cooldown like Electra's 2, so you could shield and get that ult, because she's going to get that ult off most likely. I don't know if that happens right when she soft enrages, or if that was just because one of the clones disappeared right before that, so that could have been that. And then at that point, it's just turn order. Sometimes the clone will disappear right before her turn, and you're just screwed. You can't even, like, get defensive buffs up or heal or anything. And then sometimes her turn will be, like, the very last turn. So, you're, like, you're golden. You can get all your stuff up and protect pretty much everybody. But that's the way the mechanics work out, guys. So, I'm sorry I couldn't get a kill for you. I tried really hard, but I only had 2 hours to try. That was my best attempt there at the end. Good luck on your Cowley. She's not impossible, guys. She's not impossible. If I can get her that far and I don't have the ideal team, I would like to be running double Rue, but I can't, because it's just the way the situation is. I don't have a tank that's buff enough right now. So, but it's not impossible. All you need, a good tank. Could be anybody, pretty much. You know, if you gear them right, a good tank. Some counter, some AoE mechanics, like a triple attack or a cone attack, a 5-person attack, whatever it is. 2 really good support, and at least 1 other semi-support / hybrid. And then a DPS. That's all you need. Your DPS is up to you, your support is up to you, whatever you got. Karen's super good in here, Rue's super good. Sid's super good if you have Sid. Ramuh, it's alright. I'm sure there's some other supports like Demos or whatever you could probably run if you really want to. But, and that's pretty much it, guys. So when I get a kill video, I will put the kill video up since I've explained the mechanics already. I will probably just post the kill video and maybe have a short thing at the beginning of, oh, okay, and make sure you watch out for this as I learn more about the fight. But good luck, guys. She's going to be around, I think, at least a week, maybe 2 weeks. So you know what to build up. Cynthia will probably work, even though her damage will be gimped a little bit, but that AoE will pay dividend. Morgan works, Tayo works. I'm sure there's some other DPSs that work just fine. I just went over the supports. Pretty much any tank you can get to those stats I mentioned. Try to get as much counter, and if they have a cone 1, because you really need the cone 1 to try to get those clones out. And just go to town, guys, okay? So good luck. When I get a kill video, like I said, I'll get it for you. I'm ShowtimeDr on Twitch. I'm actually going to be doing a pool battle with Cash Bryant as soon as the servers come back. I believe we have 2 hours, unless they come up early. So anyways, guys, ShowtimeDr on Twitch. Check the show notes or the description. You can find a link to my Discord. Come in, collab, ask questions, give advice, whatever you feel like doing. And I'll catch you later, guys. Peace out.